Hi you guys, it's Charlie aka Miss Charlotte, and like I told you right here on Charlie's Corner, we are going to be, or you guys are going to be studying with me for the Servsafe test for the next few weeks. And I'm going to do about an hour of studying right here on the show, just reading what's in this book and taking notes, of course, and you guys are going to read and, of course, take notes with me. And, in that hour, I'm going to try to get as much wrote down and learned as possible. Now, of course, it is about 3:10 in the afternoon right now. I have about maybe 2 hours until I have to work at job number 2. So I figured in the meantime I'd take the time and begin studying as soon as possible because, yeah, I haven't studied in years. And let me tell you, it's not like I really did much studying when I was in high school. So, yeah, getting started right now is probably best. So, I'm going to read and take notes while I'm at it. And hopefully anybody who's interested can learn with me. So, yeah. Now, these videos are going to be about 15 minutes only because of the fact that when I save the videos, I want to make sure that there's enough useful time in it. So anyway, let me go ahead and get started. The first section that I'm going to be reading about today is providing safe food. And like I said, as I'm reading, I'm going to take notes. So you guys can just listen in and learn with me. So, providing safe food. You can prevent this. If the banquet facility in the story above had a manager certified in food protection, it might have avoided the foodborne illness outbreak. Preventing foodborne illnesses is one of your most important tasks as a manager. This chapter will introduce you to the following basics for keeping food safe in your operation. And here's the story that they are talking about. In a recent incident, John White, a chef for the Johnson's family dining chain, led his staff in prepping, cooking, and transporting food to a banquet facility. The banquet facility was responsible for reheating and serving the food later that evening for the chain's holiday party. In the days after the party, 34 of the chain's employees got sick. John was puzzled by the event because he knew that his team had handled the food safely. Johnson's family dining had a strong commitment to food safety and ensures that all of its managers are certified in food protection. At the party, John and his co-workers became what almost 132 million people are each day, customers at a food service operation. All customers expect to eat safe food, as John did. Unfortunately, the banquet facility that hosted the party did not have good practices in place for holding food. Much of the food that Johnson's team delivered was temperature abused by the time the party started. How could this happen? One reason might be because the banquet facility did not have a food safety program in place and their food service managers weren't certified in food protection. Studies have shown that operations with someone on staff who is certified in food safety have fewer foodborne illness outbreaks, higher inspection scores, and safer, happier customers. So that's the story they were talking about. So, yeah, we're going to learn about the basics for keeping food safe in, say, my operation or anybody else's operation. So we're going to learn about recognizing the importance of food safety, recognizing the risks associated with high-risk populations, avoiding potential hazards to food safety, understanding how food becomes unsafe, and understanding important prevention measures for keeping food safe. So first, we're going to talk about foodborne illnesses. Being a food service manager isn't easy. You have responsibilities to your operation, to your employees, and to your customers. The best way to meet those responsibilities is to keep the food you serve safe. To start, you must learn what foodborne illnesses are and who is most affected by them. You simply can't afford not to. The cost of a foodborne illness outbreak can be devastating. Challenges to food safety. A foodborne illness is a disease transmitted to people by food. So that's one note I'm going to take. So foodborne illnesses is a disease transmitted to people by food. Now, I definitely like to take a lot of notes because then I can always go back and look up what I read about. Food service operations, or wait. Yeah, okay. So a foodborne illness outbreak is when 2 or more people get the same illness after eating the same food. So that's 2 or more people. So once again, it says a foodborne illness outbreak is when 2 or more people get the same illness after eating the same food. The illness. And that's an outbreak. So that's all it takes is 2 or more people, and there's about outbreak of disease and stuff. Each year, millions of people get sick from unsafe food. Food service operations work hard to minimize foodborne illnesses. Careful temperature control, as shown in the photo at the left, is one way to keep food safe. As a result of the industry's efforts, foodborne illnesses have declined in food service operations. However, operations still face many challenges to food safety. And here's the picture that they're talking about. It's just like a little temperature. It's like an electronic battery-operated temperature thing that helps to keep the temperature of the food, which, of course, at my work, we do have one of those, as basically every restaurant should. Time and money. Training costs time and money. A lack of financial support for a safe food environment adds to the challenge. Also, pressure to work quickly can make it hard to take the time to follow food safety practices. Language and culture. Your staff may speak a different language than you do, which can make it difficult to communicate. Cultural differences can also influence how employees view food safety. Literacy and education. Employees often have different levels of education, making it more challenging to teach them food safety. Pathogens, I think it says. Pathogens, illness-causing microorganisms are more frequently found on food than once was considered safe. For example, Salmonella spp is now found on produce more than in the past. Unapproved suppliers. Food that is received from suppliers that are not practicing food safety can cause a foodborne illness outbreak. High-risk customers. The number of customers at high risk for getting a foodborne illness is increasing. An example of this is the growing elderly population. Staff turnover. Training new staff leaves less time for food safety training. The Servsafe program will provide you with the tools you need to overcome the challenges in managing a good food safety program. And I am very excited to learn about it because then I can feel like I did something. The cost of foodborne illnesses. Foodborne illnesses cost the United States billions of dollars each year. National Restaurant Association figures show that the foodborne illness outbreak can cost an additional thousands of dollars and even result in closure. Which that definitely would suck. Let's see. And this is cost of a foodborne illness to an operation, loss of customers and sales, negative media exposure, lawsuits and legal fees, increased insurance premiums, loss of reputation, lowered staff morale, staff missing work, and staff retraining. Most important are the human costs. Victims of foodborne illnesses may experience lost work, medical costs, long-term disability, and even death. Which would suck really bad. Populations are high risk for foodborne illnesses. Certain groups of people have a higher risk of getting a foodborne illness. Elderly people, people's immune systems weaken with age, the immune system in the body's defense against illness. Infants and preschool-age children, very young children, have not built up strong immune systems. Pregnant women, women's immune systems are compromised during pregnancy. And other populations, people with cancer or chemotherapy, people with HIV or AIDS, and transplant recipients. So, there's like a little test right here. It says, who's at risk? Place a check next to the people in high-risk populations. So, this is basically what we just learned, you guys. So, let me bring the camera right here. Here's the little test right here. Apply your knowledge. And it says, press a check next to the people in high-risk populations. So, basically we just learned. So, like a 68-year-old man, he would be somebody at high risk. So, I think I'm allowed to write in this book. I'm not sure. I'm like scared too, because I'm like, I want to make sure that I'm allowed to actually write in it. I'll have to ask my boss that question. I don't know, I'll have to ask my boss about that. But basically, I would check the 68-year-old man, the 25-year-old man on chemotherapy, 23-year-old pregnant girl. It didn't say much. It didn't say anything about the 41-year-old man on high blood pressure medication, so I don't know. Let's see. I don't think that would be one, because it didn't say anything about them being on medication. A 45-year-old man, he's a little elderly, so might check that. 16-year-old girl, don't think I would check that. So I'm going to put a check on number 1, number 2, number 3, number 5, and it says 38-year-old transplant recipient. Yes, I put a check on that. And 3-year-old girl, I would put a check on that. So I put a check on number 1 for the 68-year-old man, 2 for the 25-year-old man on chemotherapy, 3 for the 23-year-old pregnant woman, 5 on the 45-year-old man, 7 on the 38-year-old transplant recipient, and 8 on a 3-year-old girl. So let's find out if I was correct or close to that, because it says, for answers, please turn to page 110. So let's turn to 110 and see what it says. So this says that number 1, 2, 3, 7, and 8 should be marked. And what did I put? 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, and 8. So number 5, I was wrong. So, of course, I would have got that wrong, so I got to cross that out. Really? Who is interrupting me? Hello? Elizabeth, I am in the middle. Hold on. Like, give me like 3 more minutes. And then call me back. Okay. Bye-bye. Really? So, yeah. So, I obviously got 1 answer wrong on that. And the 5 that I picked was, let's see. I said 45-year-old man. I guess that doesn't really count as elderly, but, I mean, I don't know. So, I got 1 little answer wrong on that, which is very exciting. Woo, yay! See, this is why it's going to be fun, and we've already covered that first part of foodborne illnesses. So, I went back, and we've already learned that foodborne illnesses is a disease transmitted to people by food, and also 2 or more people get the illness, and that's what is considered an outbreak, when it's 2 or more people gets an illness by food. And I've so far got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of those 8 questions, well, it said to check all of them, so I obviously got just 1 wrong. So I'm very excited about that, ladies and gentlemen. So, coming up on part 2 of the show, we are going to learn about preventing foodborne illnesses and potential hazards to food safety. So if this definitely entertains you, stay tuned to part 2, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have some fun studying with this. So, holla back.